טוב, we are here in חודש אלול, חודש אלול המרוחם. רבותינו were using this month to get higher in עבודת השם, to get closer to השם. And we know ראשי תיבות אלול, אצלני לדודי לי ודודי לי, או אחד למעלה ושבע למטה, שבע יפול צדיק וקם. הרבה תורות יש על חודש אלול. אחד הדברים החשובים ביותר, one of the most important things in חודש אלול, is that all חודש אלול it's like our life, because in all our life, what we're doing is preparing ourselves in the פרוזדור, like רבותינו אומר, עדכן עצמך בפרוזדור, all the meaning of elul is the meaning of preparing. To what? To Rosh Hashanah. The shofar was something very, very very big. The Mekubalim saw it like, something that they're waiting months that it will happen. We're reading פרשת ניצבים this Shabbat. אתם ניצבים היום כולכם. And רבנו בן איש חי, he wrote in his book that אתם ניצבים היום כולכם. The Gemara, the Yerushalmi says that first of all, הקדוש ברוך הוא make a din in the night with אומות העולם. And in the day, he's make the din of Am Israel. And the Ben Ish Chai asked, how come הקדוש ברוך הוא make a din in אומות העולם before we make a din in Am Israel? So he's answering that it's like someone that go like a nation, big nation. All the human beings, a big nation, is going out to some place, all of the nation. So the poor people, they're running fast because they don't have anything to take with them. So they come in the first one. And the rich people, they must arrange themselves. They must think about the way, think about what they need to take. And they're so much preparing, that's why they coming to Hashem, to Melech, the last one. That's why הקדוש ברוך הוא דן אותנו ביום ולא בלילה. And the meaning is that הקדוש ברוך הוא is considered mostly the preparing. And it's very deep meaning. Because in this world, you don't care how much you prepare. You care about the outcome, תוצאות, result. You prepare it 10 hours. It's not my business. I want proof, I want תוצאות, I want result. But בעבודת Hashem, when we serve in Hashem, it's something else. It's something that we not just take care about the preparing. All the issue is how much you prepare. And Rabbeinu Ari says there is a secret how you prepare to Shabbat. Rava Malach Shibuta, all of the Tanaim make things, but Rabbeinu Ari says, preparing preparing to Shabbat is read in the Parsha 2 מקרא ואחד תרגום. And we know the sign in the Shulchan Aruch is רפה, רש פי ה'. Why? Because ההלכה הזאת היא רפה ביד האנשים. אנשים קשה להם לקיים את ההלכה הזאת. But there is very interesting thing. Why? Because the Ben Ish Chai says, if you have two options, one option is asked not halakha lema'aseh, but is asked about the idea. If you have only 1 hour, in this hour you can read 2 מקרא 1 תרגום, or listen the קריאה בתורה. What do you prefer to do? What is higher? The Ben Ish Chai says, והכינו את אשר הביאו, ההכנה is higher. Why? How come? He says, והכינו את אשר הביאו, יש לזה סמך בתורה. וההכנה הזאת לשבת, יש לה סמך בתורה. And there is few ראשונים, the Rashba, and other ראשונים that said, the ta'anug in Shabbat is from the Oraita. And a lot of Chachamim says that not only ta'anug, also the preparing to the ta'anug is higher than the ta'anug himself. So, and a Kriya B'Torah, which this is all the name of the Shabbat, this is all the meaning of the Shabbat. The name of the parasha, Kriyat Torah, it's only takune. It's only takana. And it's takana not for you, it's takana for the tzibur. If the tzibur lose one word, you must, in the next Shabbat, read it all again. But if one of the tzibur, one of guys of the tzibur, lose all the parasha, he doesn't need to hear it again. Because it's chiyuv, it's takana on the tzibur. So we're learning from it that a very interesting thing, that the fact is that the preparing is more higher than the thing that you prepare to. Now we are here in Chodesh Elul, in the last week of Chodesh Elul. אתם ניצבים היום כולכם, and we know, Chachamim says that אתם ניצבים היום כולכם, ראשי תיבות, the first letter is ענקה. הקדוש ברוך הוא מנקה מהחובות, לא מלשון ניקיון, אלא מנקה, מחסיר מהחובות שלנו. Why? Because אתם ניצבים. You ask to come and to prepare yourself perfectly to be the one that did the tshuva. And when someone is doing the tshuva has a power very, very strong. And we know that in Rosh Hashanah we say, in היום מרת עולם, היום יעמיד למשפט כל יצורי עולם, אם כבנים אם כעבדים. And we know the same day that is Rosh Hashanah, this was the first day of Adam HaRishon. There is a chidush, very high chidush. We think about, this is the day that what happened? Adam HaRishon make the het, make the mistake. Yeah? So we say, Hayom Harat Olam. The Ashkenaz say, Hayom Haras Olam. Why Haras Olam? Because he make the het. But we must know, we must understand, in this day, there is like 24 hours. And there is a time that HaKadosh Baruch Hu created Adam HaRishon, and there is a time in this day that it was before Achet. Which the meaning, Rabbeinu Ari says, the meaning of Adam HaRishon before Achet is the meaning of La'atid Lavo, of neshamot that never make a chet. It's very, very high. It's called neshmot ziar ha'ila'ah. Because we have neshmot ziar ha'ila'ah, which the meaning is that in this day there is a light of neshamot of ziar ha'ila'ah. And we must understand that we must connect to the meaning, the inside meaning of the tshuva. The inside meaning of the tshuva is that we are connected to the place of Adam HaRishon before the Chet. And this is the power of the shofar. Because the shofar, we have three kind of tkiot. We know there is sfekot also in the Gemara, we have sfekot in the Rishonim, siman tafkuf peitet, tafkuf tzadik, it's very tough simanim. There is a lot of shitot, and after the shitot, a lot of machlokot. How to understand the termitin, how to understand the time. All the issue of the tkiot, all the issue of the blowing into the shofar is missing with question, with sfekot. That's why we're doing tkiah, shvarim, teruah, tekiah, because we doesn't know the perfect thing, the truthful thing. So we make this sfekot. But in the other side, we must know that it doesn't matter, and we know shvarim teruah, they must be collected together. Elul elil veganu haganih. It's the way that people cry. When you start cry, not you, when someone start cry like this is just the crying of the crying is just the way that we are making the tkiot. And there is two mainly rules, halachot in the tkiot. The first one is you must do the tkiah the same time to the shvarim and teruah, and also the same time in the tkiah. And you must do the tkiah, and not do it like the shvarim. That's why a lot of chachamim, they were mahmirim not to do not to finish, because it sounds like shvarim. This is one halacha. The second halacha is the breathing. You must, between the tkiah to shvarim and teruah, you must breathe. You must take air. And between the shvarim and the teruah, you're not allowed to take air. ברוכים הבאים. חיים טובים. So, we have these two halachot. The two halachot have a meaning, inside meaning. The tkiah is saying all the issue of the tkiot is missing with question, with fakes. We know from Purim, Safek is Gematria Amalek. All this world is fekot, is yelalot, is ginuhay. All this world has a suffer, but you must know, you must collect the suffer and not breathe between one suffer to each other. Because everything in the end is called pashut. Before the tkiyot, and when you finish, you stay with the simple side of life. It doesn't matter how much you know, how much you get, how much money you have. In the end, when you eat, you cannot eat more than 2 pieces of bread. So your bread is going to cost $10 more. But you must understand there is simple side of life. Also in Avodat Hashem, there is simple side of Avodat Hashem. And everything in the end came back to the simple side of Avodat Hashem and to the simple side of the life, which meaning make quality time with your children, make quality time with your wife, and be in the simple believing that we have, that Avotenu have, from generation to generation. Because in the end, we get into the same place, the same point. If you're simple, you included everything. That's why we wrap all the tkiyot with pashtut. This is the main thing that we should remember. And we know that this is very high time. And this time of Rosh Hashanah is connected to the secret of the prophet, and the nevuah, the prophet, came from the kol pashut, which doesn't have any breaks. And if it's broken, you breathe between the pashtus and the broken size of life. And when you manage yourself in this point, you can stand in front of Hashem and you say, you read before Hashanah, אתם ניצבים היום כולכם. אנחנו ניצבים. We don't afraid. To be honest, to look ourselves in the mirror and says, yes, I made a mistake, I come with my mistake. Why we say נושא עוון ועובר על פשע? Why Hashem is carry and כביכול suffer from carrying our עוונot? Why you need to carry? We say על חטאים, on חטא, we say ותשליך במצולת ים כל חטאותם. תתן אמת לעקוב. Why חטאים you saw in a way? חטא doesn't have a big יצר הרע. But עוון, it's close to מזיד. That's why Hashem נושא עוון. Why? Because if you do a תשובה מאהבה, you opposite the עוון to זכות. And הקדוש ברוך הוא don't want to lose your זכויות. He collects them. He carries them. Because he so much care about you to get the most completed sachar that he can ever give you. Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu want to give a lot. He had a lot to give. I said this a few times in my lectures. There was one rich people in London. I think Frashfels or I don't know. I don't remember his name. Every year in London, you must say how much you sell. You must say how much you pay to the government. And one year, he was so much in sorrow. People ask him, "Why are you in sorrow?" Because when I give people my nation, Achim Sheli, my brother, I give tzedakah, I get percent from the government. In this year, Baruch Hashem, I made a lot of money. I have a lot of tzedakah to give anashim, but I don't have the people to give them. Don't have enough people to give them. And Haval, the money is go to the government. Hashem had a lot of goodness to give us. But all the issue is not the sachar. All the issue is not the sachar. All of the issue is the preparing. When we are preparing, we are mixed with preparing, we are become a vessel to the light of Hashem. The light is here. But the question, if we are a vessel, a pure vessel, if we are cleaned ourselves, and it's for us. Hashem לא צריך אותנו. כביכול. And this is the secret of elul. I told someone today, it's wrote in the pasuk, אורך ימים במינה, בשמאלה עושר וכבוד. He asked me how come I don't succeed in business? Why Hashem do it to me? I told him, listen, we have a rule in the Kabbalah. The right hand, כביכול hand, כן? כביכול, the right power is from up to down. From Hashem to us. That's why we're saying, אורך ימים בימינה. The day that you live in life, it depends in Hashem. It's not that simple, because you have a mitzvot, you have two mitzvot, you can make it also longer. מצוות כיבוד הורים, למען ירחם ממך ושילוח כן. But in generally, it's a thing that not connected to you. But in the left hand, we're saying, בשמאלה, עושר וכבוד. The honor and the money to become rich is depending on the left hand. The meaning of the left is what you do, how much you make yourself as a vessel to collect the lights. And what you left in your left hand, it's what you do. That's why we have halacha. Maran is wrote in Siman Kuf Ayin Tet, Be'orei De'ah. He wrote that you cannot ask, when you do a goral, you cannot ask your goral to know the future. You can ask what is good to do, like this or like this or that, you can ask. But what will give me more money in the future, you're not allowed to ask in the goral. But it's only for a Jew. For non-Jew people, they can ask on the future. There's a question. If a goy come to you, tell you, listen, Haham, I know there is few goralot of Hachamim, Hatznati, there is few goralot. I want you to do a goral for me. I was in Morocco, people came, Moroccan, they told me, do me a kamea, they know everything. And they wrote our names. They swearing, when you do a kamea, sometimes you must do a swear. They swear in the holy name of us. They doesn't understand what they saying. Sometimes they send me, can you explain what this letter? They wrote in the letters, they don't know the letters. So, Baruch Hashem, sometimes they wrote in Dalet like Zayin, and Kaf like Bet. I don't answer them. Say, no, it's okay, leave it like this. But the un-Jewish people, they can ask about the future. Why? I thought about it once. What the meaning they can ask about the future and we cannot ask about the future? And the meaning is one meaning. Jewish people can change things in this world. And Hashem is so much trusting you, and He so much know how much power you have in your soul. He give the manage of this world to you in your hands. That's why we're saying, Belashon HaKodesh, Goralcha beyadecha. Your raffle is in your hand. You have a low raffle, you must bring a very high walk. But there is no opportunity that Jewish man is not successful. No opportunity. You have more thing to work on? Okay. It's a matter of the mainly issue of elul. You have a bigger elul. You have a bigger place to make it preparing. Wonderful. But you must know, singer, it's in your hand. You must do with what you have, with your vessel, the way that you are going to bring your raffle in this world. But the un-Jewish people, they say, Adil Maktub, it's written, finish. When it's written, you cannot do anything. We have the power to change what's written. It's like the Sipur on Baba Meir. You know the סיפור, the story of Baba Meir. Baba Meir once, there was one guy came to him. He was חבר כנסת. He was, איך אומרים חבר כנסת? Member of the Knesset. Of the... כן, he was a member of חבר כנסת. He was שר. איך אומרים שר? Minister. He was minister. He came to Baba Meir. He was crying. Said, how come you cry? He says, listen, I go to some woman, Arabic woman. She's reading in the hands or in the cafe, I don't know. She's reading in the hands. And she told me, I have a big zera, I'm going to go to the jail. Baba Meir heard these things, and he became very angry. He started shouting, לא היה ולא יהיה, לא היה ולא יהיה. It never have been, it never will be. He started shouting. But listen, she read in my hands. Maybe the rabbi will see my hands. לא היה ולא יהיה, לא היה ולא יהיה. See the rabbi shouting. He get out from his house. He says, I don't know what to do. He go to his father, Baba Sali. He drive all the way to Netivot. Came to Baba Sali. He asked the Baba Sali, Hacham, I was in some woman. She told me she's Arabic. She know how to read in hands. She told me, you know, there is problem. You're going to be in jail. Baba Sali knocked on the shulchan. Said, no haya velo yeh. Lo haya velo yeh. Shout, shout, shout. He tell himself, I don't understand. He tell the driver, listen, I don't understand. They shout, shout, shout. This is Arabic woman. She listened to me. She is shouting. So the driver asked Baba Sali, says, he doesn't understand you. Baba Sali told this man will go to my son, Baba Meir. He will give him the explanation. So he came again to Baba Meir, to Ashdod. And he just get inside his house. Baba Meir again start shouting. לא היה ולא יהיה, לא היה ולא יהיה. He said, Rabbi, I need explanation. I need to understand. Why are you shouting? The Arabic woman doesn't shout. You shout. What's happened? I told him, listen. Listen. The difference between me and my father to this woman is only one difference. She know how to read. We know how to make things in Hashemayim. We not just reading. We have the power levatel gezerot. And it's all a matter of preparing. You have a problem in your life, you have a longer elul. Elul we know. We call it the months of the mercy. Chodesh HaRachamim v'Selichot. Also in life, if you have problem, you must know. You have the opportunity to make a bigger mercy. Because in the end, if you get back to the simple place in life, you can wrap all the problem with big emunah. And everybody, every Jewish people that have emunah has a success in life. Because if you have a problem and you still have emunah, even though you don't resolve the problem, the thing that the fact that you have emunah, this is the highest place that you can get. And this is the meaning of elul. You know, in Yerushalayim, elul, and not just elul, not just in Yerushalayim, but every place, it was a very, there is something in the air, something else. You feel it, you know it, you, amash. זה חיים אחרים, אלול. זה משהו אחר. And when you look with the, we call it in the Kabbalah, when you look in the mindset of elul, אם אתה מסתכל במוחין של elul on life, you can make your life in the same way that you live, like a other life, other way to live. Because this is the power of the tshuva. In Shabbat, I told them a story about me. One time, there was one guy that came to me. He says, "You are Tורג'מן?" I tell him, "Yes." He tell me, "You don't." He told me, start shouting, "Shame to yourself! What you did! It's elul Hashem! How dare you thought about doing it? אתה לא מתבייש? איזה מין דבר עשית?" And shouting middle of the street. I looked around and said, "Okay, I have a lucky we are in the middle of the street. If we were in a corner, אני לא יודע מה היה קורה." Shouting. And you know, the worst thing that you do, it's what you did to your small brother. I tell him, "Just a minute, man. I have only small sister." He says, you don't have a small brother that his name is Moshe? I tell him, "No. I don't have any brother that his name is Moshe. At least you have a news." He told me, okay. So you are not Tורג'מן Ploni Almoni? I say, "No, it's not me." "Oh, I'm so sorry. Listen, Mehillah, you look like Talmid Chacham. I'm really sorry." And I was standing over there. I will think, this is the meaning of the tshuva. I'm the same man. He shout on the same man. But when I changed the meaning, I became other man, like a new one. If you do a tshuva, me'ahava, you do a truthful tshuva, like tshuva mir'ah, and after tshuva me'ahava, all the gdorim of the Rambam and Rabotenu Arishonim, you became other man. As a new. We don't trust the tshuva. That's why it's so hard for us to believe and to bless. Baruch atah Hashem harotze b'tshuva. Baal HaTanya says, someone that doesn't believe in the tshuva, that is became as a man, so his bless is baracha levatala. But we know that the meaning that we have and the believing in the tshuva can make this world in other way of looking, other meaning. לגמרי משהו אחר, עולם חדש. And this is the meaning of the shofar. We're getting up to the binah, and in this world, we just create all this world מחדש, like as a new. אז בעזרת השם, אנחנו בימים האלה, ימים גדולים מאוד, ימים של אלול, לפני ראש השנה, רבנו הארי says that all the story of this day is around one pasuk. הנותן בים דרך ובמים עזים נתיבה. The meaning is that Hashem give you a way, Hashem give you a road. Where is giving you a road? In the water, in the sea. הנותן בים דרך ובמים עזים נתיבה. He give you a road in the sea, in through the water. ובמים עזים, when you have a storm in the sea, he give you a clearly road, which is נתיבה. And it's very tough to understand it, but if you live in the way of emunah, you understand that also in water, that the water, every time they are collect to each other to become one, you know there is road inside it. You know that even you have a shvarim, even you have a תרועה, in generally, בסוף, האחדות של השם, אחדות השם חוזרת להיות דבר אחד. אז בעזרת השם אנחנו, החודש הזה אנחנו נכין את עצמנו ונזכור. We say in היום הרת עולם, we remember the חטא, but we must remember the most of the day was אדם הראשון before the חטא. This is the power of היום הרת עולם. We remember היום הרת עולם, this is the day that אדם הראשון was before החטא, and the pasuk said, ותחסרהו מעט מאלוהים וכבוד והדר תעתרהו. מעט. He became so much close to be חס ושלום, we cannot say it, but we know that this clue, ותחסרהו מעט מאלוהים וכבוד והדר תעתרהו, it's in this day of Rosh Hashanah. And this is the meaning that even though it was a chet, it was shvarim, it was a truah, in the end we have the pashtut ha'emunah. This is the biggest and highest power in the world. And if you go with the believing, we go with the Torah, Hashem is open all the gates. I want to finish with one story, very interesting. You know, in the Kemeot, we have like, the Arabic call it harz or ברז. It's like טבלאות, איך אומרים טבלאות?
Tables.
איך?
Tables.
Like tables, and there was one Hacham, big Hacham. His name was Rabbi Yosef el Ashkar. Hacham Rabbi Yosef el Ashkar. He was Hacham that lived in, he came from Spain, in Gerush of Spain. He came to Algiers. And he was very big Chacham in this Chokhmah. And one of the Mekubalim, one of the Chachamim, of the Goyim, of the Muslims, they wrote about him, in his note, he wrote about him that he wished he will become religious to their believing. And he doesn't understand how much how much wisdom he has in his brain on this secret of the
grids.
The grids. Okay, again, like
Shalom.
Again, it's like a grids. It's like a windows to open things. And one time, the Amelech, they so much jealous in their wisdom. The Melech took them into the jail. He doesn't want to open. He doesn't want to let them go. So they pray, and the wind bring the sea to bring the water and make it destroyed all of the village, all of the place of the king, and the king doesn't know what to do. And then one of his mishamshim, one of his slaves, told him, listen, the rabbi that in the jail, they saying, if you want the sea will be quiet, you must get them out, because before they came to here, before you take them to the jail, they make an agreement with the sea. They have two kemeot, one in their hand and one they put in the sea. And if there is a problem, they told him that they will swear the minister of the sea, and the minister of the sea, the spiritual minister of the sea, will destroy all his city. And he gets them back, and they make some kind of pe'ula with kad cheres. איך אומרים kad cheres? Vessel of
shard of pottery.
Shard
of pottery.
Shard of pottery. Okay, pottery shard. So they make the pe'ula, they throw it to the sea, and the sea became quiet. And we see from this story, we understand that we have so much wisdom in the Torah. We have so much power, and this power is connected to the way that we live in, the way that we live in the simple side of the life, the way that we live in the Torah, the way that we connect into the secret of the Torah. And Be'ezrat Hashem, we hope that Bekarov Hashem will bring us Geula and bring us Be'ezrat Hashem the prophetic, the nevuah to Am Israel again, and we all, Bezrat Hashem, we see it eye to eye, בעזרת השם, בשוב השם את שיבת ציון ברחמים, נזכה בעזרת השם לכתיבה וחתימה טובה לשנה טובה ומבורכת תמיד כן ירצו.
אמן, כן ירצו.
חזק ברוך.